So in this station, we're going to talk about a device called a kilowatt device. The idea is that in our households, we have things called vampire, phantom, or parasitic electrical devices. Our learning target here is to evaluate whether or not our home has electrical devices that use electrical energy even when we're not actively using the device. So what are vampire devices? Vampire devices are electrical appliances that drain power when left on standby or when they aren't in use. For example, when you turn off your TV, there's no picture, but the red standby light is on. This stays on so you can connect your TV every time you use the remote control. Common examples of appliances and devices that have phantom loads include TVs, DVD players, cable boxes, stereos, coffee makers, microwave ovens, toasters, laptop chargers, phone chargers, and other items. All the devices consume energy even when they're off if they're plugged into the electrical outlet. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this microwave using our kilowatt device. This is a device that can help you determine whether or not you have phantom or vampire loads present in your house. So right now, the only thing on the microwave that's working is our clock. And so what we're going to do is just take a look at what is our data when the microwave is not actively being used. So the number of volts we have right now registered is 122.5 volts roughly. So that's when the only thing working on the microwave is the clock. If we do our next button, we can see how many amps we have. So it's 0.05 amps. Now this device can also be used if you're having problems flipping circuit breakers to determine how many amps a unit is drawing to try to make sure you're below your 20 watt or 15 watt or 15 amp circuit breaker. Our next thing we want to check is right here, and this is the number of watts that we're using. So it's 0.3, so 3 watts of energy right now just to have the clock on. And our last one is the number of hertz. So when we talked about AC current, we talked about how the current cycles at a certain number of hertz, which is 60, and here we're at 59.9 hertz according to our kilowatt meter. Now the next thing we want to do is we want to say, well, okay, so what's it like if we actually actively use the microwave? So we have a beaker with some water, and we're going to put it in here for 45 seconds just so we have enough time to look at our numbers again. So I'll just put it on 45 seconds and start it. So if we're looking at our volts, we're at about 120.4, 20.34 volts while it's being used, somewhere in there. If we look at the amps, we're drawing 13.95, 14 amps of current right now, which is a fair amount. So you want to make sure you have this on a good circuit. If we look at the wattage, this is using 1548 to 63 to 50 watts of electricity. And if we look at the hertz, the rate at which the energy is cycling, it's still at 59.9. So what we want to do then is we're just going to stop this. And so I have some questions for you. But before we get to the question, well, no, we'll go with the questions first. So what I'd like you to do is compare your data and observations for when the microwave was not being used to when it was actively being used. What changed and what stayed the same? The next question is, does the microwave have any vampire or phantom / parasitic energy loss based on your observations and collected data? And what's your evidence? And the final part, I want to try to bring this back to your house a little bit. So what devices can you think of that you may have at home that have vampire, phantom, or parasitic energy losses? What can you do to help stop them from using electrical energy even when they're not actively being used? But remember, you need to be practical in your decisions. You can't just go around the house and unplug every single thing all the time, or people will get upset with you. So I posted some resources for you to use to help you with this, and I have some sentence starters for you. One of the things that I like to use, I got this from Alliant Energy, is an advanced power strip like this, where I have this hooked up, so I have my TV, my sound bar, and DVD player all hooked into this, as well as a couple other things, like a little light on the side. And so I have my TV in the main one here. And so when I shut my TV off, everything else goes off except the TV. So the only thing on standby is my TV. So when I hit my remote button again, it turns the TV on, and then all the other devices hooked into this power strip will also come on for me. So this is an option that you can get that works quite nicely.